Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. I want to talk on I don't know how to say this nicely, but I guess you're kind of used to it by now. But childhood excuses. I tell you, I now understand how we were brought up as a child, how it kind of sets us in the direction of what our life is going to be. And what, 66 years old when I finally figure all this stuff out. But anyway, I never let people use that as an excuse around me, and I never really used it as an excuse. But as I've got older, like I say, old now, and I'm evaluating stuff, why things happen and stuff like that, I understand more about how, when we were young, how it affects our lives. I say, I lost my mom at 5, and we lived on the outskirts of the city. It was a city, a small city, Topeka. And we lived close to the edge, so there was farmland that I was able to play on, creeks I was able to play on, and at the same time I went to the big city schools. And this, like I say, Brown versus the Topeka Board of Education. Okay, I'm not Brown, but I was the results of that. I say Topeka was the last segregated school in the nation, I think. And I was non-white going through an all-white school. And so there was things I had to deal with. And and I say, with no mother, I kind of lived, and when I say I lived off the street, it's not like people, like you see little kids on the side of the street and stuff like that, not like that. But like I say, I didn't have to go home. I could, I had no supervision, so I was able to stay out as long as I wanted, did whatever I wanted to do. So I ended up getting a lot of fights and things I had to handle myself. That's why I'm not a 911 kind of guy. I just take care of it myself. And it was funny because my wife, she came from here, Guatemala. And now she was all Chinese. I'm half Chinese. So we had the Chinese culture that joined us together. That's really what put us together. I mean, she couldn't speak English, so the only common thread was the Chinese culture. And it was funny because she was very non-violent at all. I mean, she didn't like it when I would raise my voice. And normally I don't raise my voice anyway, and seldom do I raise my voice, to my wife. She really had to get me going, get me to raise my voice. And that's another thing. She couldn't figure out why she couldn't really make me mad. I don't have a temper. And it's because when I was young, I learned to control my temper very, very well. And so, but like I say, when things aren't when I see something, normally my first reaction is to raise my voice. So, and because like I say, that gets the attention of everybody. That calms the situation down. So I do raise my voice. And I say I've owned businesses and stuff like that. And whenever, in the United States, where violence is part of the way of life. I mean, when I was young, you know, you have a disagreement, you kind of punch each other around to figure this disagreement out. So, and that's okay, I have no problem with it, but you're not going to do it in my business. And so then I would have to raise my voice, because those two are already raising their voice trying to, you know, check out their pecking order. And so then I come along and make them both realize who's in charge of the pecking order. So, and I would raise my voice the first thing before I use force. And then, but that's when I had businesses. And then, like I say, in Vietnam, I'm 18 years old in Vietnam. So here I'm in the jungle at 18 years old. And I say from 18 to 19, I lived in the jungle. We stayed in the jungle the whole time. I say we came out of the jungle once a month for them to mend our wounds, get new uniforms, because you know you don't have that one set of uniforms, so it'll be worn out by then. And so anyway, at 18 I'm doing this. so it's, for me, I look at violence a whole lot different than what my wife would. And that's one of the main reasons why down here, remember I said also down here, self-defense is illegal. It's illegal to fight. And so, and you don't have any self-defense kind of standing, you know, like I just defended myself. That's not an option. You cannot fight. This is the way they were brought up down here. That's why down here I am very unique. And the unique part is not so much that I fight, even though I've been in one situation down here where we made contact, and I had to do it 3 times because they were trying to tell me don't do it, you know. And I already made a video on that, but anyway, it was, and I've been trying to understand why everything's so messed up. And I've already told you now they are under UN law down here. So, and the way I understand, even the UN law says you don't have the right to defend yourself. So, a matter of fact, the UN law is really close to 911. In other words, when you are victimized down here, you report that, and the person that victimized you gets in trouble. And you know, that sounds kind of like 911. You know, because now I use 911 in the United States when, after I got the guy on the ground, and if he needs medical attention, well, then we call 911. So that's when I use 911 to call for medical attention. Other than that, you know, I don't call 911 for trouble. When I shot the guy in the convenience store, it was funny. The clerk in the convenience store pushed the button that calls 911, and I pulled out my gun and shot the guy. So this, and then, like I say, you can dial 911, but not so much for the police, for the ambulance. So that tells you the difference in the mentality of the people. Now, what I'm talking about is, how did they get to that mentality? And that's what I'm talking about. Here, they were brought up nonviolent. In the United States, now we are taught non-violent. We don't even understand. In the United States, the children aren't taught how to use violence. The only way they see violence is in the video games and the movies. They don't understand the reality of violence. I told my kids, when you are threatened, when you feel like you may be hurt, you fight. That's what I told my kids when they were little. Their mama, in which we had a lot of arguments on the kids. And one of those arguments on the kids was, she would say, well, if they're going to hurt you, report them. That's the old-fashioned way of saying 911. So I'm starting to wonder, this is why our population in the United States does not understand how to take personal responsibility. The first part of responsibility is take care of yourself, your body. Don't allow anybody to hurt you. That's the first part of taking personal responsibility. And what do people think of when they think of taking personal responsibility? Call 911. That's their idea of taking personal responsibility. I'm sick. Call a doctor. That's what they think is taking personal responsibility. They have no idea what personal responsibility is. They are not taught that. So what I'm talking about is you need to teach your kids personal responsibility with their hands, doing it themselves. What made me think of this is when I made the video and I was talking about going out with the kids out in the woods picking up firewood. And while you're there, now you're going to teach them how to put up snares, traps like that for rabbits or whatever, and even start fires. And after that, when I was editing that, I saw that, and I'm thinking, how many people teach their kids how to start a damn fire? You know what I mean? This is what I'm talking about. That's part of taking personal responsibility. You need to be dry and warm, and sometimes you may have to start a fire. And what do we teach the kids? Don't play with fire. This is way beyond crazy. Way beyond. No wonder they don't see all the crazy stuff that's going on in the United States. They don't see it as being stupid and crazy. They're so sensitive. I don't know. But we're going to have to do something with our kids. And you're the one that has to do it, not the state. This is Mike. NoStressMike.com.